Normally, I travel with everything that I might need, but going to London, we're going to travel light. Just the necessities. I've had a manifest made for 3 weeks. I've been packed for a week and a half. Everything we need for 16 days in the United Kingdom. Dress clothes, suitcases, toiletries, laptop, cameras, everything that's going to be necessary for a Corny in the UK to give the proper impression. Ever since I heard about the weather forecast, everybody knows I don't like to fly anyway. And I've been shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds. But I'm going to suck it up. Because Alex Shane, James Dixon, Kenny McIntosh, Inside the Ropes, Wrestle Talk TV, History of Wrestling, they're dependent on the Louisville Slugger. And I'm not going to let anybody down. This is our Tuesday night update. We drove 440 miles south today to the Atlanta airport, where we're here at the beautiful Hilton Garden Inn, awaiting our flight tomorrow to arrive and find out the flight has been canceled. British Airways has no one on the 800 number that speaks English because all the people on their telephones were born in Bombay. So, as a result, we think we're going to fly out Thursday night, but we can't confirm that because of the language difficulties. So tomorrow, since we're right here at the airport, we're going to go and speak to someone in person who can tell us that we are confirmed on our flight to London. And in the meantime, we're going to sit here and enjoy the opulent surroundings. More updates as they become available. Hi everybody, this is our Wednesday night update. We're still at the beautiful Hilton Garden Inn at the Atlanta airport. We went today to the airport to the British Airways counter, which was closed because 36 hours after the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport issued a statement that they were fully prepared for the weather and that there would be no disruption in service, they canceled 2,000 flights. Of course, ours was among them. We went to the airport, took 2 shuttles through the elements, and found that the British Airways counter was closed. Nobody there. So we took 2 more shuttles back, and we arrived here to eat a dinner of pre-made burgers and canned beans because the restaurant is short-staffed and is closed. 3 inches of snow, a half an inch of ice. It hadn't looked this good outside in Louisville in over a month. But Atlanta, you see, just doesn't do this type of thing. The National Weather Service is calling this storm mind-boggling and historic. I call it bullshit. So we believe, according to Alex Shane, who had similar problems with the British Airways phone, that we're rebooked for tomorrow night. Stay tuned for further developments. I'll get to the UK if I've got a goddamn swim. There is entirely too much presence of flying and people acting normal like it's a common everyday occurrence to get in a metal tube and fly 500 miles an hour, 5 miles in the air. And I can't find any place to buy more life insurance. So Alex Shane, I'm going to choke you for doing this to me. Even if I do have a good time in the UK, I'm not sure that this burden is worth it. Now I know how people on death row feel when they've got 4 hours before midnight, but at least they're certain of what's going to happen, whereas I still don't exactly know for sure what's going to happen. I'm going to take some more Xanax now, and I'm going to have another drink. And if this is the last words that I speak, I bid you all a good day.
Well, there's a chapel I could pray, but we're defying God's law by flying when we weren't supposed to anyway. So I guess we're all going to hell.
You doing okay over there?
I'm reading Billy Robinson's bio and trying not to realize where I'm at.
Yeah, take another drink.
Xanax. That's right, another Xanax.
Okay.
Xanax would be good. There we go. How did we get here, Alex? Are you in charge of this? You do that voodoo that you do so well.
We're documenting our trip, so. Ooh, Valentine's Day dinner buffet. I've lost my wife.
I'll wait until you're in and then I'll squeeze your butt over.
Right, there we go.
I think he's got it.
AJ. See the matches that made them the TNA wrestling stars they are today. I wouldn't think they'd want that publicly known.
Oh wait, here we go. Clever. Well, hopefully it was clever. We got those for the TNA tour, so we figured if there's something that is a freebie for TNA fans, then there's more chance of them taking it home. So we did 5,000 of those during the TNA tour.
Yeah, this probably won't work for Glasgow.
No. Thing is, it looks big from the outside.
No, it doesn't.
A bit bigger, like in England, this is pretty much considered a sort of decent sized car, but I wanted to get us like a people carrier, but we're trying to see if we can get a higher car now as well, so we'll juggle it, we'll work something out.
Yeah, the bathroom in the original hotel room, I told him it was so small we had to step outside to change our mind.
Let's go to Canary. We'll go to Canary Wharf. Okay. Let's go through the River Tunnel.
Yeah, I tell you, the hotel was so cheap they stole my towels. I don't know. Rotisserie Street.
Let me tell you about. I told you this with Raven, right? When we were on the London Tube system. I'll tell you about this.
Say it again now.
We were on the London Underground, you know, the tube.
Okay.
Like the subway. And there was a map on the wall, and it was all the different connecting tubes. And he looked at me, and this is after telling me he's got an IQ of like 170 or whatever. And he said, these tunnels, were they here before the city was built? Or did they build the city because it already had all these tunnels? Well, I mean, no. There was a part of his brain that temporarily thought, oh, this is really convenient, we'll build here because there's already...
I like Scotty, but I'm not sure about the IQ of 170.
Was that before you took him round the tubes to see how inconvenient it actually was?
Yeah.
Can I get the spicy chicken popcorn and also the cheddar bacon beef burger?
Do you want the chicken as a starter?
If it's ready first, I'll take it first. Otherwise, let's bring it all together. Let's bring it all together. And do you have Sprite? 7-Up? Everybody seems to water. Yes. Yeah, just a glass of water.
Do you want mineral water in a bottle?
Just mineral water is not the same as sparkling. Sparkling. Just.
You don't have sparkling water. But it's a mineral water. It's not
Yeah, give me a bottle of water. Yeah, just the regular water.
Footage and also having some food, and Kenny will pay for it. But at the Heart Attack Grill in Phoenix, after WrestleMania, Ring of Honor had WrestleMania shows in Phoenix, I did the quadruple bypass. They're half-pound patties, 4 of them with 2 pieces of cheese on each, and then you dress it up any way you want. But if you eat the whole thing, then you get a free wheelchair ride to your car. So I hadn't eaten all day. We had the shows, and I hadn't eaten all day, right? And I'm stressed, and I'm waiting for that, and I'm smelling it. So I ordered the quadruple bypass, and I finished it off in under 10 minutes, plus part of her double that she had.
Oh, they were huge.
And her stepfather is like, anybody 350 pounds or over eats free there. Well, her stepfather's about 320, so he couldn't eat free, but he tried it. He couldn't hardly choke it down. Her mother wanted the free wheelchair ride for the photo op, right? She almost needed one after that. She got it, and we sat there and she was eating, and she'd stop, and she'd eat, and she was determined, the poor woman. She was going to get this.
She's making herself.
And finally, she put the last bit down. She'd turned green around the gills, and she literally needed the wheelchair. It took her like 2 hours. We were there talking with some friends of ours and everything to finish the thing, but holy Jesus, she didn't eat for 3 days.
Let me get out here so I can go.
Because I mean, Brock was as boring as a mud fence anyway. He was. He had never been a wrestling fan. He had never watched wrestling. He wasn't naturally outgoing or extroverted, and he wasn't a natural. He was a great athlete, obviously, but he wasn't a natural at wrestling. Shelton was a natural at wrestling. That's why I teamed him up, because he could take the stink off of Brock's matches. Brock in a single match, it was fucking deadly dull, but Brock and Shelton together, Shelton could, you know, bump and feed and do the flashy stuff and then sell and then give Brock the tag, and he was the cleanup guy. And her guys, BJ Payne and Damien at the time, they're in front of 15,000 people, so they're like, oh, Jesus Christ, and they're trying to go about their shit. She's out there whipping them out and working the people, and they hated her anyway. She's naturally easy to hate. So finally the finish comes, and Brock gives her the press slam, and boom, and the place went ape shit. And then the finish came, and it was okay.
Well, we come out of the underneath the Titantron. You know, and I'm trying to milk this entrance. We're fucking in, you know, Freedom Hall under the Titantron. I'm like, hell yeah.
And the guys ran to the ring and just
ran to the ring, and I'm in heels, and I'm trying to, you know, kind of take my time, you know, milk it a little bit. He fucking took off without me. I'm like, God damn it, really? Same. But it was good times.
Yeah. But anyway, that was, you know, but that from that time, from the mid-90s to the early 2000s, we lost all the territory guys. And then, you know, it was you either had to train them or get them from the independents, and like you were just saying, anybody can buy a ring from fucking high spots, can start a wrestling school. I can't tell you how many times I've had guys say, I was trained by the original masked assassin, you know, the one that lives down in Bowling Green. No, that ain't the original masked assassin.
Say he was the masked assassin?
Oh, we had a comic book convention. We had a guy come up and say, I was the world famous spoiler. And he went to take a picture with me, and he said, hold on, and he puts this mask on. He said, people would be upset if I didn't have my mask on. The only people who'd be upset would be your immediate family, because nobody knows who the fuck you are, pal. And then we're just this last fall, we're at Scarefest. It was me and Greg Valentine, and was that the one? Beefcake missed that one. Greg Valentine was there, and Duggan was there, I think, at that one. But anyway, but one of the OVW guys is there also, Cliff Compton, you know. He comes up and he says, see that guy over there? That's one of the original Scuffling Hillbillies. I said, no, it's not. Oh, yeah, he's Jack the Scuffling. I said, no, he's not. I said, it was Rip Collins and Chuck Connolly. Rip, I believe, has been dead for quite a while. Chuck Connolly lives over in Ashland. If he's still alive, I haven't seen him in years, but I know him, and that ain't him. So this guy was going around convincing the boys that he was one of the original Scuffling Hillbillies that sold out Madison Square Garden. And they don't know the difference, you know, but that's anybody that can buy a ring can open a wrestling school now. And they were trained by the guy that trained the guy that trained the guy that trained the guy that used to work for whatever.
It's you know, over here, they reckon there's, at the last count, there was about 40 wrestling promotions. Possibly 50, depending, and these are all, but now it's got even worse, because you don't even need a wrestling ring from High Spots, you just need a Facebook page. That's the thing, you just say, oh, I'm so, you know, so and so, and I got a load of heat about 6 months ago, because somebody contacted me and said, they wanted to add me as a friend, and they were Primal Instinct Wrestling, and I just put something up there, and I put, you know, if you're thinking about setting up a wrestling promotion, and you have to give it a crap name, or, you know, if you're thinking about setting up a wrestling promotion and you can't find a good name, you have two options. Number one is to realise that all the good ones are gone because there's already too many, or you know, and go and work with a company that's established and ask to learn the ropes as a regional promoter if you want to run a show, or set one up with a crap name, you know, that's never. And anyway, and I've got loads of people say, oh, what are you saying? There's too many, but there is that point where there is too many places, because most of the people, that's what I was saying with the tour, so many of the people are now in the business. Like, there's just, I mean, we've got maybe 25 wrestling schools. If you imagine it having 25 wrestling schools in Texas, right? Now you think that England, you can fit about 3 Englands into the state of Texas. That would be about 75 wrestling schools.
Oh my God.
And 120 promotions if you think about it as a landmass. It's you know, there's some really good talent here. I mean, there's a lot of guys now who are just getting noticed overseas and stuff, but it's heavy. It's a heavy.
But if you're trying to break in and you're trying to go to, you know, developmental or, you know, some kind of wrestling school that, you know, has any clout whatsoever, you know, I'm sure it'd be hard to find something when you have so many options, you know what I mean?
Dutch Mantell said it best, the greatest quote ever. Dutch said, I liked the business better when the marks were out front. I'll go to some shows. That's why I don't hardly do any independent wrestling shows anymore, because besides the fact that after The Wrestler came out, I'm embarrassed when I walk into a show or do an autograph thing, unless it's a big Legends deal, because it's like I feel like people are coming in going, oh, now he needs the money too. You know, I'll be falling asleep at the BFW hall or whatever. But also, you go in and you're like, Jesus Christ. I do more autographs and take more pictures in the locker room than I do outside with the fans, because there's more people in the locker room than there is outside in the building.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I'd mind taking pictures with some of the younger boys, but it's just...
It's a sad reflection.
It's sad,
right?
yeah, it's sad.
No, over here now, like, I mean, you still get some companies that draw big houses, but there's a lot of times when I'll speak to people, I say, how was so-and-so show? And they say, oh, they drew a decent crowd, they had about 250 in. And I think, wow, that's really sad when you know, like, anyway, it's...
I know people are just over the moon now. We had 600 people. They used to almost consider, if we'd have drawn 600 people at the Louisville Gardens in the late 70s, early 80s, they would have thought about canceling the show. Because it was, what the fuck happened? We'd go to Charlotte and do, you know, at the Coliseum, a bad house was 4,000 people. We go, oh, we got to get something going here, you know, so that we can try to get business up a little bit. And now, nobody draws 4,000 people. Vince doesn't draw 4,000 people in a lot of places. It just...
The locals barely do 150. I mean that's just the IWA show we have across the river in Indiana. Yeah. Does Ian Ron still do that, or
I think he came back. I think he was milking people. He was dying of some illness, so they'd come and buy tickets or whatever. But that's the reason why Kentucky has so many rules now and such a horrible commission, because they did that hardcore fluorescent light tube barbed wire shit, spurted blood all over the audience. He got on the news. We have an athletic commission. They called him to Frankfurt. He went into Frankfurt with gig marks on his head and cut a wrestling promo on him. So they pulled his wrestling license, pulled his promoter's license, hired a bunch of commissioners, instituted a bunch of goofy new rules, and now you can't fart unless you have a license. And it's all because nobody would ever have thought of doing that shit. I mean, Jerry Lawler and Terry Funk used to have these double juice matches and pull-aparts and all that shit, and there were thousands of people there to see it, and everything was fine. But as soon as they started doing mouse traps and thumbtacks and fucking light tubes, and it got on the news, and people started going, what the fuck is this?
And it's because it's unsafe as well, isn't it? Like, even if Funk and Lawler had used a mouse trap, right, at some point it'd been done in a way where it's not going to fly off into the audience, and it's going to, because those kind of matches just give the impression.
Christine Jarrett would have hit the ring and give them the grip. One time, the commissioner in Louisville in the late 70s, there was one commissioner for the whole state of Kentucky. He was the athletic commissioner, and as long as you wrote a check and sent it to him in the mail, he never even came to the matches, really. But his name was Fred Lamson. And he was bald-headed, and we used to call him Mr. Fudd, because he looked like Elmer Fudd, right? He comes, Lawler and Funk had this fucking brawl one time, and blah, blah, blah. And they're doing a pull-apart with 10 or 12 guys, and it was after Funk had been, you know, he'd done the deal with the eye, so he's got the eye patch on, and it's just wild, and people are going crazy. And the commissioner comes down to the ringside and takes the PA mic and says, okay, boys, the match is over, break it up. And Lawler looked at him and said, you think it's over? You get your ass in here and try to break it up, right? They've been running that town for, at that time, 15 years, drawing thousands of people every week, 52 times a year. So Mr. Fudd comes back, his tie is up around his neck and his face is red, and he's telling Miss Jarrett, you can't do this, you can't do that, and she gave him the grip. Whenever some boys, anybody pissed her off, she would grip them like that. And she gave him the grip and said, Fred Lamson, you worry about collecting the taxes and we'll worry about promoting the wrestling. He was so mad he didn't come back for 6 months. They'd send the $5 in for a license for all the guys, and they would send the 5% tax in as a check and the paperwork.
What if we could do that with our Kentucky commissioner?
Oh God, now, yeah. But you know,
yeah, it's sad, isn't it? I guess, but I mean, it's one of those. In England, it's the other end where we don't have anything set up. There's no. What's the best way to put this? The government doesn't care enough to legislate or license wrestling, and we had an incident, and actually it's really, at the TNA shows, I met the guy in question for the first time since the accident, a guy called Nick Barley, and he was doing a show that was down in Wales. And he was a really talented, really young. He was kind of like a young Asian Shawn Michaels, is the best way I can put it.
Okay.
And
it's an interesting visual, but I'll buy it.
And he basically was doing a match where, and even when I explained the move, you know the Star Wars Clash, AJ Styles Clash.
Yeah.
Right? Well, in the match they did a Spike Styles Clash. Now you think about the mechanics of that, it's not going to work, is it? Because as soon, right. So what happens? You imagine they do the Spike Styles Clash. He lands the wrong way, breaks his neck on impact. There's the referee and nobody at the shows knows what they're doing. He's laying in the floor. They reckon it was between 3 and 5 minutes. He's laying on the floor, paralysed, and the other wrestlers are kicking him and stomping him, trying to save time, right? And he's now in a wheelchair for life. And I met, and it's really fucked up because after it happened, I was trying to we were trying to find a way. We were trying to get the Sports Council to recognise us and to insure us and do all these kind of things. And in the end, we had to go with Equity, which is the Actors Union, because like wrestlers, there's loads of things you can't get insurance to run a wrestling school here and stuff, and it's not recognised. Yeah, so the Sports Council say, oh, you're an art, go to the Arts Council. The Arts Council say you're a sport, go to the Sports Council. The Sports Council said, oh, you've already got a governing body, it's amateur wrestling. So then the amateur wrestling organisation actually wrote us a letter. The chairman said, no, they need their own one. We're not professional wrestling. We're completely different. It doesn't fall under. So then Sport England, who's taxpayer funded to be able to do it, then stopped replying to emails because they had nothing to say. So, but I met Nick. It was really, really, really horrible when we were doing the TNA shows. There was one in Nottingham, and there was a queue of guys. And bearing in mind, I knew Nick as working on my shows, and we'd stayed in contact. It was his first wrestling show he's gone to since 2009, the TNA one. So we've messaged each other, Facebook each other, but I've not actually seen him. So I knew that he was going to be in in Nottingham. And as I left, where did we go? Was it Nottingham or Birmingham? Where did we? The TNA, it was Birmingham, yeah. So when we came out of the Birmingham entrance, there was people just waiting around the door, and there's a couple of guys in wheelchairs. And one of them said, "Hey Alex," I went, "Hi mate, nice to meet you, how you doing?" And sort of went to shake his hand, and I distinctly remember as I tried to shake his hand couldn't even grab my hand. And I walked him and I said, "Are you here?" And I thought, I'm just going to go and ask him. So I thought, as I went up and I said, "Nick, is that you?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's me." And we had a chat, and it was just the stark reality of that not having. So what happened was his parents tried to get compensation, but because it was a government-owned building, the promoter had no insurance, so they tried to go after the government, the council, for letting an I don't know what's happened with it, but it's one of those house of cards that and that's what I thought when we got television. I was worried it's almost like getting a magnifying glass on a dirty surface. As soon as you look proper, so that's a shit storm that's about to all. But that's the thing with wrestling, not being able to quantify what it is, or in the minds of other people, right?
Well, it's a shame because so many of these assholes and all this hardcore stuff, and the boys have been as bad because the boys now grew up watching this ECW horse shit and all the rest of that stuff, and they think, when we were in Knoxville and one of the job guys came down to visit Candido from New Jersey, one of the job guys who worked up north, and he brought the pictures of when Tommy Dreamer was doing the thing with the Sandman and got caned and his back was eat up, and they was taking pictures of it, he was proud of it. And I like Tommy, I'm not knocking him personally, but we were all blowing snot laughing like they're really hitting each other. And we thought, well, thank God it's up in Philadelphia, because they're nuts anyway, it'll never go any further. And then within a couple of years, the guys are really beating each other over the head with shit, and the chair shots and all that shit. So for 80 years, guys pretended to hurt each other, but didn't really, but made the people believe that they were, and now they're really hurting each other, but nobody believes it. Who's the fucking marks? Who's the fucking marks? Yeah. And forever smaller crowds. I mean, if we'd go to a spot show at some high school gym and there was 500 people there, we had our spot show match. We're going to entertain people, we're going to give them a couple of yucks, blah, blah, blah. Midnight Express never had a bad match, but at the same time, we weren't going to have the fucking Baltimore Civic Center match in front of 10,000 people in front of 500 in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Now, if there's 500 people out there, guys are trying to behead each other. And nobody believes it anyway, because we've told them it's all fucking phony. So who's the fucking marks? And that's what Russo with that Brawl for All thing. I can't wait to get in that fucking Brawl.
Oh yeah, that's on the it's on the list.
Yeah, I told him, I said, you fucking idiot. I said, you've slapped people in the face for fucking months and years now at this point with that everything we do is phony, and now you want the guys to go out and fight and really hurt each other, and nobody's going to believe it anyway.
You're kind of saying, well, that, what you're doing is pissing on... I never really thought about that because I was already involved in wrestling, so I thought this is kind of interesting watching from a car wreck perspective. But yeah, you are saying by this being the Brawl for All that you are just admitting now that that's all, even by the kind
I didn't know if you wanted any of this. I know you don't like sausage, but if you're not going to eat, help yourself, guys. I'm completely done. So.
Yeah, but that was the thing. And of course, anything can happen in a shoot, which it did. There's nobody walking the earth at that time. It was tougher than Dr. Death Steve Williams, but he never boxed. Bart Gunn had boxed. And the doc tore his hamstring, couldn't move around, so he's a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. Bart caught him with that fucking left, boom, Bart Gunn. I love Bart, but he was never going to get over as a money-drawing wrestler. He just, it wasn't there. Doc had it. So I went up to Russo afterwards. I said, congratulations, you fucking dipshit. You just cost the company $5 million in one night. And he's looking at me, because as Bill Watts used to say, if Vince Russo was ever in a men's locker room, he'd be whistling Stranger in Paradise. He didn't understand sports, except he loves baseball or whatever the fuck, the Yankees, blah, blah, blah. But as far as combat sports, he didn't understand it. He didn't understand why anybody would have ever thought wrestling was real, even though so many millions did, because elsewise people wouldn't have gone to jail trying to kill us all. He didn't know what to do with Dan Severn. I wrote him 10 pages, handwritten. Here's what you do with Dan Severn. He's not a sports entertainer. He's the baddest man on the planet. Over 100 national, local, regional, amateur wrestling championships. A fucking UFC Triple Crown winner, Hall of Famer, etc., etc. He can't cut a promo. He's not very colorful, but the people believe in him. Here's how you can use him. Here's how you can't. I know the fucking guy. And they had Severn and Shamrock together in the same company at the same time. They never wrestled each other. They could have had They were outdrawing the WWF pay-per-views that first round when the UFC was hot on pay-per-view for McCain, fucking idiot, got it ixnayed. Have Severn Shamrock 3 on pay-per-view, and they'll work it, but nobody can tell because they're great. He'd rather pay people fucking blue and have goddamn the freaks from the Howard Stern show dancing in the fucking ring than have Severn Shamrock 3. Fucking goof. So they buried Dan, because he wasn't going to dress up in a fucking tutu. But Russo never even tried to get how to manipulate real athletes in worked settings to sell tickets. He just wanted a goddamn clown show.
What you're saying now is kind of what they're doing 15 years later, right? With Brock Lesnar, it's exactly, you give him a manager, when you present him as that, and now that's working really. You do the thing with him and Cena, which is presented Extreme Rules, and but obviously 15 years later, it's not going to be anywhere near as effective as it would have been if it had been done.
Well, yeah, because it's 15 years. It's 15 years harder to make them believe anything now because they've had 15 more years where we've told them, oh, it's all phony. But it just amazed me.
A lot of horror movie stuff.
Well, everything he did was horrible to me. But anyway, so Herd goes, we've got RoboCop, right? What are we going to do with him? Well, here's what you can't do with him. When he's wearing the suit, he can't go up and down the stairs. Maybe he could go up, but he definitely can't go down. But if he falls over, he can't get up because the suit's so heavy. So you can't knock him down. He can't run. He has to move slowly, right? And we're like, what the fuck? So that's when they came up with the idea of I was going to be in the cage at ringside, which took me out of the one of the only good matches on the fucking show, the midnight match with Pillman and Zink, because now I'm in a cage, so I can't interfere. But I had to be in the cage, so they'd have a cage there, so that they could throw Sting in the cage, and then RoboCop could lumber out and spread the bars and save him. That's what they figured out that he would do. He'd spread the fucking bars. Yes.
Yeah, because they
that's
look really.
Whenever they put me in a cage, my deal is I'd bang against it. I'd be going, man, I'd hit the racket, whatever the fuck. They said, oh, don't touch the bars. They're rubber. They're gimmicks. So I have to stand there in a cage like fucking Joe Schlub in the gimmicked cage and try not to knock the door off the cage before RoboCop comes out. And it was a fucking fart. And the advertising for the pay-per-view, Return of RoboCop, didn't have any wrestlers on it, just RoboCop. So the people thought we're going to pay fucking $19.95 or whatever a pay-per-view was then to see this fucking bad movie. So nobody bought it because the advertising didn't even explain that it was a goddamn wrestling show. And so I'm in the fucking cage and trying not to fuck up the gimmick bars up. And then they throw Sting in the fucking cage and RoboCop comes in. And nobody gave a fuck, because who gives a fuck about RoboCop? It was they wanted to see wrestling.
I saw it when I was 11.
Yeah.
I remember watching WCW's first 4 releases. That was one of the first 4 they released on VHS, and I was really excited. And I got Great American Bash 1990 first, which was a great show. And then I got that, and I watched it, and even at 11 or whatever old I was, or 12, I was like, this is really. But Sting jumped around like he was excited. He tried to do.
He tried. But yeah. So there was Jim Barnett, Jim Ross, me, fucking Jody Hamilton, the assassin. Who else? I just said who else was there. Flair obviously hated it, and Jim Hurt and Kevin Sullivan and Jim Hurt goes, "We've got RoboCop." And we're like, he was fucking serious. He told the newspaper if they found a one-legged wrestler, they could have Long John Silver. So Zach Gowen was, born 20 years too late. And I think they wanted to make some other goddamn movie character. I can't remember, but he would come up with these ideas and he'd blurt them out in the booking meetings, like that it was going to be this. Everybody was going to go. We were all like, he would have died 1,000 deaths if you could just will somebody to die. The only person in the room that wanted him to live, I think, was Jim Barnett, because that was Barnett's last job in the business, and I guess he wanted to keep it. He was the consultant. But otherwise, Hurd would have had to have rejuvenated. He would have had to be a cat with 9 lives, because everybody in the room, if they could look at him and make him die, he would have died like 18 times in every goddamn booking meeting.
Well, they probably would have brought him back as Robo Hurd, wouldn't they? Really, booked himself in an angle.
You should have seen when Ole pitched when he pitched the Hunchbacks, and Ole was in the room. Ole wouldn't put him over either. He spent 20 minutes talking about how the Hunchbacks are going to be the most unbeatable tag team ever because they got the hump on their back, right? So you can't pin them. Yeah, I'm serious. I am fucking serious. The Hunchbacks in there, they got the hump on their back, and you can't pin them, so they'll be undefeated. And Ole sat and listened to him fucking spout this shit off. And he says, "Okay, Jim, then book him against me. As soon as I tag in, I'll take one of them down, slap a submission, hold on, he'll give up, and I just beat your unbeatable team." Well, goddamn it, Ole, you know what I mean, And then Russo actually stole the fucking he stole an idea from Jim Hurd. Remember the Human Oddities? I was just talking to Don Callis about this, the Jackal. When they brought Earthquake, John Tenta, in and put the goiter on his head and he had the skull cap and everything, they wanted him to be a hunchback so he couldn't be pinned. That's what Russo, how he sold it to Don Callis, the Jackal. You're going to manage this hunchback, can't be pinned. And Don told me that just the other day, and my God, he was actually stealing ideas from Jim Hurd. How low can you go? That's the record limbo of booking wrestling, is to steal an idea from a complete fucking idiot, Jim Hurd, which proves if you steal from an idiot, that means that the idiot is smarter than you are. Therefore, Jim Hurd was actually smarter than Vince Russo. So we have found one human being that has walked this earth since the dawn of man, since the first amoeba crawled up out of the ocean. One motherfucker is stupider than Jim Hurd, and it's Vince Russo. Amazing.
That's like the age-old chicken and egg. You've just sussed it.
Yeah.
What in a pub in England, you had to sort of come across this part of the world just to find the answer to the age-old thing. Wow.
Surely Vince Russo is smarter than Jim Hurd, because Vince Russo still gets employment though. Somehow.
Well, okay, but no, that doesn't mean that Russo's smarter than Jim Hurd. That means that the people that give Russo a job are stupider than Jim Hurd was, because at least Hurd never hired Russo, so maybe we found more people stupider than... My God, it's continuing. It's a conundrum wrapped in an enigma around a mystery. Hey, if it was raining soup, Dixie Carter would be out in the yard with a fork. So she's the one that hired Russo. So, anyway. But he doesn't get employment now, at least. That's got to be a rumor. That, although it may not be a rumor, he may be back with TNA because they've run through everybody else that would actually work with that fucking stupid douchebags.
My shower at home at my office is the one that I use. Well, all these years in the hotel, right?
and the small showers and the shower head, you got to bend over backwards. It's like 5 feet tall or whatever. So I stood there and I stretched my arms out each way. And I made them build the shower 6 inches wider than I could possibly reach with my arms outstretched both. So it's 6 by 6. And then I stood there and I, had them draw a picture where I wanted them to put the shower head so it's right, the exact height of, and then the body spray fits me. So when I go in there, it's like, I can't touch the sides if I want to as long as I'm standing in the middle. That was my present to myself for 30 years of being in fucking hotel showers.
Is about as big as my bathroom.
Yeah, but you've got a shower and a jacuzzi tub, whereas all I got's a shower.
But you got the blowjob bench. So.
Well, there's a bench in the corner of the shower. It's marble, so you don't get dirty grout because it's all marble. You just take a squeegee and squeegee the sides down. But I put a little bench in case I get tired, so I can sit there. And she calls it the blowjob bench because coincidentally, it's also just exactly that height. If you're sitting on it, you get. Hey,
put some chickens in the back.
Me and the Midnight Express actually rode into the back of the Baton Rouge Centraplex in the back of a chicken truck one time.
Wow.
Dennis Condry's van broke down on the side of the interstate, right? And we were only 10 miles from the building and we were running out of time because regardless of what, we're going to get fined $50 if we're more than 15 minutes late because Watts don't give a shit. If your car broke down, these things happen, leave earlier, right? So nobody will stop and get us. They just give us the finger as they go back because they recognize us. How can you miss Bobby and Dennis's blonde hair, right? So they're all honk, honk, laughing, giving us the finger. And this one guy in a big pickup truck pulls over. He says, "Y'all need a ride?" "Yes, we do." "Okay, hop in the back," because him and his buddy are up in the front, right? It's only a 2-seat pickup truck, but they've just come back from market where they took their chickens. So the feathers are in the bed. So they pull us up in the back of the Centraplex. The feathers are flying in the wind. We get out we got the Mid-South Tag Team belts. We got our bags. We're the champions. There's 400 fans, waiting to see the big stars come in. And here we get out of the back of the fucking chicken truck covered in feathers. And we just had to hold our head down and walk in.
Right? But here it was a 10-pound note and some change, and I said, well, I'm not going to give her 10 pounds, so I gave her all the change. I gave her the big change because I thought that was more. Well, it turns out that the 10 cent things are bigger than
the pounds are 50 pence.
The pounds are smaller, so I think I gave her like 40 cents. So she must have thought, what a jack-off,
No, but if you want to be nice and it's already included, sometimes I'll say, can you take off the gratuity, and I'll just give them the tip in cash. Because they get taxed on it.
Say that again?
They get taxed on that. Holy shit, what a racket.
If it's included, you don't know whether it's going
Yeah.
to, so you can say to them, can you take that off, and then just give them some money, because then they can take it and look at it.
See, we in the wrestling business, we call it running it through the separator.
Yeah.
What was the house? Well, what you tell the boys, what you tell the government, what you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't rely on it for their living here because like the minimum wage is high. So people
What's the minimum wage here?
I don't know. Hang on a second. What?
It's about £6.
I'd have to have a job to know the answer to that.
Would it be £6.50?
Yeah, so it's about $9 or $10 an hour. It's gone up quite
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, depending on what state you're in over there, it can go down to like $7.25, $7.25.
Yeah. £4. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That is lovely.
But Obama's trying to raise it. He raised the federal employees, but he can't just unilaterally raise the minimum wage because he's only the president of the fucking United States. And the goddamn Republicans will have a shit fit because they're all multimillionaires. Every member of the Senate is a millionaire, right? They don't want to fucking raise the minimum wage because they're the ones paying, not the ones getting paid. So the Republicans would have a shit fit if he tried to actually give people money that they can live on. So there's people working 2 full-time jobs and still qualify for federal assistance.
I'm not mine.
Because we have Republicans.
I don't have a mic.
Well, because we had Tony Blair for 10 years.
I gave it to Jamie.
But they brought in the minimum wage, and now we have a conservative government here. So
Oh God! But still, people are so much nicer and level-headed more over here. It seems like even your conservative people must not be as wacko as ours are.
I mean, even our conservatives would never. They would never argue against a nationalised health service, for example. Because it's like untouchable here. It's untouchable here. Like
It was
you can't.
like, as soon as he brought that up, it was like they pissed in his mother's mouth.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Oh.
but our parties pretty much believe the same things and slightly change one slight thing of it. It's like we want to have minimum wage for children. We want to have minimum wage for people below 21 or something. It's the tiniest thing.
Oh no! Republicans and Democrats, and my state, Kentucky, has that fucking weak chin prick Mitch McConnell, who's hopefully going to get voted out this year. But he came out as soon as Obama was elected and said, we intend to make him a one-term president. Everything he's for, we're against. It could be killing puppies. I'm against it. And they go, no, we got to
kill all the puppies.
Yes, we must kill more puppies. It doesn't matter. They're fucking nuts.
Well, they tried to. The way I saw it, they tried to run against his healthcare bill, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
But they ran the guy against him who invented his healthcare bill. Like Mitt Romney was the guy who's it was based on, right? Like,
but he's a Republican, so that's okay. Because that's when he was governor of Massachusetts. Because you can get away with that shit up there. But then that don't fly in Texas, and he wants to be president of the whole United States, so he's got to go back on what he originally said. You know. No wonder the whole world thinks we're a bunch of fucking nuts. Say again?
Mitt Romney changed what he was saying like every 3 months, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm trying to play it.
I mean, it's, you know, trying to explain, especially the Republicans, American politics in general, but especially the Republicans and the way they think to someone who doesn't live in that country. You're looking at me like I got steaming turds hanging out of my mouth when I'm saying what they actually do, but they actually do it. And as you know, when Obama was elected, they said we want him to fail. That's like we want the pilot of the plane we're flying to fail because we don't like him.
We believe we're good.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Think about Francesca.
I'll get him.
Yeah, I know.
I'm on her side. Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I was impressed for this fiasco.
Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Samoa Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at sacrifice, you got a 33 and a third chance of winning. But I got a 66 and 2/3 chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me and he's not even going to try. So, Samoa Joe, you take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning if we used to go one-on-one, and then add 66 and 2/3%. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at sacrifice. See, Nick Joe, the numbers don't lie. Disaster for you at sacrifice. Yeah. See, but I'm gonna break it down for you ladies. Would you rather?
Awesome. Let's quickly get that sync.
Okay.
Do you have a French maid outfit?
We get up. This is where we get up and we walk off.
Yeah,
Come together. That's not just serious. Come on.
You want to hold my racket?
Come on.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's holding my racket. All right.
There we go.
Great stuff, guys.
We're in Scotland.
I feel like I should be a Japanese tourist.
Do you want to log into your Facebook and my phone for now?
I can't remember my password now. Which is the worst.
Let's get in the car and get someplace
where we're going, and here, you take this thing that don't work here. What? Of what? She's been talking about Greg's pasties for the past 6 months.
That is a very random observation. And I need to get you a pizza crunch at one point, don't I? That you need to try one of these.
Yeah, I got to try one of those too.
It's funny actually, do you know, if you want to come over here for a second, you can see this kind of area here. This is the chip shop, right? But wait till you see some of the shit they have in.
Let me see this. Oh my god. It wasn't me, it was Owen. I wasn't even there. There you go. Yeah, it was a 6-seater, not a 5-seater. Okay, now wait a minute. Who is everybody again?
Jamie.
Jamie, Robert,
Owen.
and no Kenny. Owen's ours.
It's going to the Hilton Grosvenor at the West End, please. Yep. It's not a Scottish accent.
I've heard that I'm not going to understand some people, so we might have to. And they might not pick up on me either.
Actually, Robert pointed out some irony about the place.
Oh yeah, the venue. The venue we're in tomorrow night actually used to be a sex theatre. Like it was a porno theatre.
Nice.
Not for a long time, 20 years or so. But I still wouldn't get down on the ground.
Its roots.
Absolutely wouldn't touch the banisters.
Lovely stuff.
What is this? This looks like cash cab now. So for $50, is Jim Cornette freaking out the first time he sees Glasgow, Scotland? The answer, yes.
She said that correct. Glasgow.
Scotland. I'm working on it. Birmingham, Glasgow.
Well, you know what? You might not. I don't know if you wouldn't have watched, but when WWE came over a couple of years ago, they told Crime Time to come out in England, and it was you know, their like catchphrase was, "We've got them dollars, yeah, whatever." So one of the agents had said, you need to go out and say, we've got them euros, yeah. And Crime Time were like, but it's not euros here, it's pounds. But that's the wrong currency. Yeah. And the agent was like, no, you need to go and do it. So they went out and said euros. The crowd just booed them out and they were right.
I wonder who the agent was.
Ignorant enough.
Jack Lanza would have done that. He would have.
Jelly Belly movie.
Jelly Belly movie. Oh, this is great.
There's a place you like down there, George Square. It's like a big architecture place. We can go tomorrow if you want.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got to see some of this tomorrow because that's our chance.
Kilt shop just now. I wonder how you would look in a kilt.
I don't know that you're going to be finding out.
Are you wearing a kilt tomorrow night?
I don't think so.
Can you imagine the facial expression?
I brought a tartan skirt with me. So
yeah, she
specifically for hair.
She looks better in a tartan skirt. I don't know. I could sue my legs for non-support.
There's a visual.
Yeah.
Kenny Wayne used to have legs so skinny. He had a big upper body for his height and his frame, but he had real skinny legs, and he was in the gym one day, and one of the boys said, did you ever have a problem with them legs, Ken? What do you mean problems? Did they ever break off and stick up your ass or
Maybe paint your face blue, William Wallace or something, or no?
Like Triple H?
Keep going, eventually you'll hit an idea that you'll work with. You just keep going.
It's funny when we did the Sunny show in November, we read out your email when you said I can't fucking work a video camera, so I'm not sending in a video question. And then about 20 minutes later, we're doing this interview with her on stage, and the crowd start turning a little bit because she's kind of like, she kept saying, we would ask her a question and she'd say, well, it's in my book, and next year when my book comes out, and we're like,
oh no, she comes halfway around the fucking world to say, hey, read my book, instead of standing in front of them.
But then she turns around and she says, guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I am an absolute cunt.
And that's what I always loved about her. I always said, I told Sonny was an upfront cunt, and that's what she was. A great talent, great promo. She knew wrestling. She had a mind for it, but she was an out front cunt, whereas Sable was an undercover cunt. It only came out, you know, when she wasn't around people of importance. She had the rest of them snowed. The two Vinces. Oh Jesus Christ! It was like dealing with a couple of fucking schoolboys. I didn't think she was that fucking hot. You know, Sonny was, you know, to me was hot. and some of the other girls were. But Sable, geez, she picked the right plastic surgeon. You know, and that was about it.
At least she had a good catchphrase, though.
Well, she didn't want to. She didn't want to learn anything. She didn't want to do anything. She was scared of getting hurt. She looked great standing there in a t-shirt, and she's making a fucking $1 million because the two Vinces are like 6-year-old kids. And they're talking about white cotton panties. What you doing? What was the white cotton panties? Give me some, black leather lace. Some of the stuff you wear.
One of these guys has to say that because it's one of my favorite sayings with either Scottish or British.
Oh yeah, she loves the accents over here.
Yeah.
So we just need to talk a lot. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, he pretty much.
Fine.
Oh, so yeah. Let me tell you this story. So I walked down the street last night when they're at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk into this pub and it's freezing out, so I decided to get an Irish coffee. And I sit down at the end of this bar and there's 4 stools next to me that are empty. And, minding my own business, really cute English guy comes up and sits next to me. And he said, "Can I sit here?" I'm like, "Am I taking your seat or something?" Yeah. I'm sweating. Okay. Yeah, fine, great. So he starts chatting me. And I said, "Well, so how are you?" And he's, "Oh, you're American," and walked away from me. Just like so rude. I'm like, oh my God. And I just started laughing. I'm like, what the hell was that?
I told her.
Oh, you're American.
I told her in the lift this morning. I said, she's so cute. She'd be so much better if she wasn't just a goddamn American.
Fucking American.
Do you know, actually, I remember when I went to Seattle, like 2003, and I was in this internet cafe in Seattle, and the guy said, "Oh, where are you from?" And I said, I'm from Glasgow." And he was like, "Oh, I love that part of the country. Whereabouts in Amsterdam is that?"
Wow.
And I was just like, "You're so wrong, I can't even correct you."
Yeah, yeah.
It's too long a story to start.
Yeah, the famous Glasgow, Amsterdam.
Good old Seattle.
Well-known location. The Big Top. Look at me, I'm so hot, I'm fogging the window up.
Yeah, you are. It has the camera there.
I think we should just somehow be like one of those infinity covers where we're just shooting video of each other's cameras. Like that. They used to shit on Tupelo like crazy. If anybody was in a loser leave town match, Jimmy Kent one time was in a loser leave town match in Tupelo, showed up in his car hauling a U-Haul trailer with his whole family in the fucking back. So I wonder who's going to leave town.
Well, did you ever see that? There was the Battle Royal a couple of years ago where Gail Kim just went under the...
Oh, I heard about it. I didn't watch it, but I heard about it. Yeah, well,
what a way to go.
She's like, what the fuck? She was, in some bullshit she didn't want to be in. Gail, to me, there you want to talk about, she's different from all the other girls. She's beautiful, naturally, gorgeous, and she could work. Her and Kong tore the fucking house down. And they fixed it. See, Russo would leave Dutch alone with the knockouts in TNA. And Dutch got Kong over like a monster because, he knew how to do it, and Gail was an underneath baby face, and then they started getting the highest ratings on the show. And as soon as that happened, well then, fuck. Then Russo has to take over and botch that up. Oh, here we are?
Yes, let's hear.
Well, there you go.
Right.
Oh, I can't get up. There we go.
Yeah, I'll get it in.
You sweated on my pants here.
That's a lovely image to have.
That's romance.
The funny thing is, one of the guys that you're doing the challenge with,
yeah,
his gimmick is Grado, right? He's kind of like a comedy character, and he took a photo with you at Ring of Honor in 2011 when he was just a fan.
Oh, okay.
So
I've got over what city? Do you?
I think it was for Atlanta for the
WrestleMania weekend.
So it's bizarre. And then, he's so kind of, again, jammy, not lucky, jammy.
Yeah.
He was in Vegas in October, right? Because he ended up booking a vacation for the weekend of their biggest show, ICW. And he's sitting at the pool, sees Bill Goldberg, gets Goldberg to cut a promo on him. Like, who else could get away with that?
Yeah, great character.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit!
God.
We're farting through silk! Because the British Airways counter don't open till 3:30. And I said, okay, we're going to get checked in. We're going to make sure I'm going to settle down, right? I haven't done this in a while. First thing we walk up the counter, guys, where's your tennis racket? Fucking yeah. He was a friend of Dave Hebner's, the referee, the Hebner brothers. He's a friend of Dave's, and we started talking.
he switched our seats around, left one, put us back where we were originally supposed to be because we had reserved seats on the original flight, and then came to the gate and put us in and told the stewardess to take care of us. So by the time I get there, we take off, but I'm starting to go to sleep, right? And it's smooth, and I'm hanging on. I'm closing my eyes and I'm thinking, okay, we're going to be fine, we're going to be fine. And then boom, the next thing I know, wake up turbulence. Now I'm gripping shit, right? And I've crushed her hand. I've had the Baron von Raschke. This is all the pilot needs to know. And as soon as it smoothed out, I went to sleep again. I think I went to the bathroom once in 8 hours. I remember
towards the end.
I remember you led me to the bathroom.
Did you try the food?
No, because you know I told her, I said, if I
food?
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
What me?
You had some pork thing, and I had tortellini.
I remember that. Okay, so I ate while I was asleep. Xanax is a hell of a drug, but then I'm back asleep, and I remember us descending, but I was kind of like, oh, we're going down, and when boom, we hit the ground, I'm like, okay, get me out of here, and boom, and there it was.
Because we didn't. It's going to Adlib on Hope Street, please. Adlib. But could you just drop us at Boswell Street, like just before the lights? Round the corner? Is that alright? Thanks. We kind of fucked up because we had thought that they would have 4, but they only have 3. So now they're gonna make some sort of ciabatta thing, but
what?
Like
the ciabatta
type
bread?
Of roll, yeah.
Okay.
But we're just gonna have to fit the bill for that one anyway because it's too late.
The thing is, give whoever you don't want to win the ciabatta roll.
That's who
because that's a thicker bread and that will be a motherfucker.
Well, that's because he actually said he will pay for his own if he doesn't finish it. So we're gonna get that to him.
Okay.
But for you, it's business as usual.
Okay.
Grado's very funny. Hopefully you'll understand them.
Okay. Well, if you'll be there
I'll
to
be there to
do
translate.
subtitles.
Yeah. I'll be there.
Oh, we were watching TV in London, and they instead of closed captioning for the hearing impaired,
the little person,
they've got the little person in the corner that's doing the.
If you have cable, right? There's this channel. Now this is the best hour of your life, right? 2 in the morning to 3 in the morning is an hour of music videos with an older woman doing the dances.
Yeah.
So there was this song years ago from the Kaiser Chiefs called "I Predict a Riot," and she's like predicting a riot, you know, she's like 65, you know, so like makes no sense. And then like, you know, She Bangs by Ricky Martin comes on, and she's giving all this, you know.
Oh my god.
The Burger Challenge, 3 pounds of cattle byproduct.
Is that like
it's in my future. I can feel it.
Are you not a fan of Briggs?
I'm worried about the bun. I was in like Boston one time, and everybody behind the counter was completely foreign. I don't even know where they were from, and I was trying to make her understand. And I said, "Look, there's a picture of it right there. I want that. See that
pictures
picture
on their buttons.
Yeah,
there's pictures on their buttons, so you know it doesn't take
the McDonald's next to Titan Tower in Stamford, right? I used to get out of the office so I could go there and have lunch and sit in the parking lot just to get out of the office. I go over there one time, because they would pile the shredded lettuce up, it was ridiculous. So I ordered 2 Big Macs with no lettuce. And I got back to the office, I opened the box, and they gave me 2 Big Macs with no lettuce and no top bun. How was that? Even if it took me 7 times to get them no lettuce. But how was that supposed to be in order?
I'm pleased to meet you, mate. You alright?
I've heard your big competition.
Yes, well, I try my hardest. It's a pleasure to meet you, mate. Pleasure to meet you. Hang on, Barry.
How are you? Nice to meet you. James, I can remember that, but easily. Whatever. Do your best shit. Try to make sure that that's flawless, and at the same time, don't forget whoever you're working with. It's as important to get their stuff over, even if you have to be the one to get their shit over, because then you look like a leader. Because even if they don't know what they're doing, if you can make chicken salad out of chicken shit, that gets noticed. You know, so that's the thing. Degree of difficulty of 5, execution of 10, rather than the other way around. Because then all they'll remember is the sloppy shit.
Yeah, you made the mistake. It's difficult for me because I come from a judo background, and I only started wrestling like it's pretty much a year ago to the month really, and it's just totally taken to it. I love it. I love kind of the larger than life characters, and it's just trying to absorb all the information. You learn one thing, and then it just kind of opens up a whole new universe.
Well, but also, do you have a heavy judo background?
Black belt.
In that case, use that, but you know, don't take a guy down and stretch him, but use it. That's what separates you from everybody else. You're not just doing spots. So wrestle, do spots, but when you can throw something in, a cool takedown or a cool fucking hold or whatever. Everybody's happy. You know, anything that you can use that looks good and that you can get in and out of quickly and etc. And don't let a guy get out of it. Let a guy get to the ropes. The worst thing you can do is you're a black belt in judo. You take a guy down, but it's not the finish, so he gets out of it. Fuck no, take him down close enough, he gets to the ropes, and the referee makes you break. It's not like that. They'll notice. You're not just doing shit for the sake of doing it. You're doing shit that makes sense, and you're trying to win in the context of the contest. I had a little alcohol, just take the edge off, right? I gotta keep lubricated. I don't do beer, I only do hard shit. Oh my God!
I had 2 days this morning. I had 2 days this morning.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Your time starts now!
All right. Get your phone, sweetie. Jesus Christ!
Come on, Diego! Fucking eat that! I'm going for that!
No salt, no man, no condiments. Okay, head it up again.
There has to be nothing left in the bone.
It's a big burger. But I'm seeing varying tactics over here. I know a few things they don't know. They're doing some things wrong. That's all I'm going to say.
George home. You drive yourself. Get some buckets, people. Aye. Can I get a bucket? Can I get, honestly? I'm not.
Give me a bucket. Fuck off on school.
I can't wait. I need a bucket. I'm going to wait. See, the thing is that it's nice if I can. He's gonna puke. One of the fucking pickle things, man. Gherkin things and rotten, man. It's like use Johnny or something. A Johnny's a condom.
Oh! I keep waiting for him to slow down, and he's not. He's slowing, but he's not stopping.
No. Jim, have you seen the promo I made for this yet? Jim Cornette, burger eating contest, 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 Jim Cornette. I went to shoot on. Mate, if you got me sick, get the bucket. No. I don't want to be sick. I'm not going to be sick. Morty, he's pulling your pussy. Wolfgang, fuck off me.
Now that's starting to affect my appetite. I think that's his strategy. He's going to gross us out.
Up next to you, man, if you're going to be sick. You're making me even more sick when I'm doing that. You're doing that. You make me sick.
You need to go in there and say, at least I'm a better worker than Triple H.
That's the red son!
Then you grab Stephanie's tits.
Work out your jaw like
Can I do it?
How would it be cheap? What? It's looking good. You're looking good, big man. You're doing well.
Is this a hat or a bucket?
One more fight! 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 Bang!
This is real, this isn't a promo. I'm getting damn sick and tired of the wrestlers in ICW thinking that they can talk me out of the company. Well, let me tell you something, you know exactly who I'm talking to. I'm here to stay, and I'm not moving for you or anybody. In fact, I'm here to take over this place, so how do you like that?
That was fantastic.